Spurs 1, Man United 0. Yeah, I don't know where to start, to be honest. I mean, first of all, this is obviously just my opinion, but I back Ruben Amorim, like every other Manchester United fan should be at the moment. They sacked Ten Hag, right? And these were his players. These were the players that were suited for his system, right? Ruben Amorim comes in halfway through the season in an already struggling Manchester United side and is expected to click his fingers and just start challenging for the title because we know how good he is with Sporting Lisbon. That's what every single Manchester United fan wants, right? But there's a difference between wanting and expecting and getting. There's three different parts of it, right? I expect Ruben Amorim to do better. That's the truth, right? Am I going to be patient and buy into the project? Absolutely. And am I going to stick with this manager throughout it all? Absolutely. Like I did with under Ten Hag, like I did under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, like I did under Jose Mourinho and every other manager previous before them since Sir Alex Ferguson has retired. However, Ruben Amorim today and in his last few games does deserve criticism. And I'm not going to sit here and blow smoke up Ruben Amorim's backside. I'm really not going to be doing that because he does have his flaws and he will make mistakes like he did today, because not bringing on a single youth player for an impactful moment of the game is cowardly, in my opinion. That's my only criticism towards Ruben Amorim of today's game. However, if you read the game that I saw was that Spurs didn't really create any major chances to batter Manchester United. Yeah, they had majority of possession and they score from Onana's mistake because, first of all, just to get sidetracked, I am sick to death of this goalkeeper. Why does he always palm it away into a dangerous area? I get it, right? You might not be confident when it comes to catching shots, all right? That's fine. But hit it away from safety, right? Put it out for a corner if you have to. Or put it out just further out the pitch, going towards the corner flag maybe. Don't palm it into running players into the box who can just smash it past you. It's pathetic. And I'm going to make a video on Onana and the mistake he is during the week. But I need to talk about Ruben Amorim because that really seems to be why a lot of people are criticising him at the moment. And for me, if you're watching the game, United had the best chances, in my opinion. Garnacho in that first half where he skied it. If he scores that chance, which I think 9 times out of 10 he actually does, it's a different game. It's 1-0 actually to us because they go and score after that chance. Now, it could have been a complete different game. It could have been a complete different tempo if Garnacho scores that chance. Like I said, 9 out of 10 times, I think Garnacho scores that. But Garnacho hasn't scored or assisted in his last 13 games. Clearly, he's shot for confidence at the moment. Now, I know he's had a majority of them appearances have been off the bench, but really, apart from him bringing that energy and directness, he's not really getting the goal involvements at the moment. And when fans criticised Rashford, Antony, you're looking like hypocrites now because Garnacho's numbers are the exact same as Antony and Rashford's were when they were at United. Now, Antony is doing well at Real Betis. I'm not bothered about that. I expected him to do that because he was a decent player for Ajax. And in Spain, that's more suited for his football, obviously coming up being Brazilian. And Rashford, under a good manager, under Unai Emery, I expect him to do all right there. But because he's got that quality, and I do like Rashford, but clearly his attitude is the problem. And I back the manager with them type of decisions. I backed it when Erik ten Hag got rid of Sancho and got rid of Ronaldo. I'll do it the same Ruben Amorim when it comes to Rashford. Was I disappointed with Rashford's decision? Absolutely. I wanted him to fight for the badge and fight for his place. But unfortunately, Rashford just had bigger and better ideas and wanted to leave the club. And you know what? I respect his decision. But with Ruben Amorim, going back to the game, for me, the way I was looking at it was that I think Ruben Amorim looked at it from his point of view and being like, you know what, we've had the best chances here and I'm not going to change anything yet. For me, up front, yes, don't change it. Bringing Chido Obi-Martin with 3 minutes to go, for me, is quite disgraceful. I'm happy he got on the pitch. I'm happy he made his senior debut. But is that really going to do him any confidence? Like, really, you should have just left him on the bench. And no doubt the kids will play at some point. But the way I saw it, we were only 1-0. And Ruben Amorim backed his team. He backed his players. And unfortunately, we just couldn't get the job done. So realistically, instead of sitting there crying about us losing the result or shouting manager out already when he's been in the job for less than 6 months, actually be proud that he actually backed his team and had the confidence and the belief that his team was going to do something. Realistically, he brought on Chido Martin for the last 3 minutes of the game, replacing him with Casemiro, right? If in case we got a quick counter-attack, which we almost did, but Xerxes lost the ball and so did Dalot. We had 2 chances to start a quick counter-attack and we didn't. We messed it up yet again. And today, it just wasn't at the races in that midfield spot. It was frustrating to watch, and that's why, personally, for me, someone like Morehouse or Kone could have made a difference, right? Just because for me, it got to around the 60th, 70th minute. And Casemiro looked light on his feet. He was getting beaten off the ball. He was getting bullied when it came to shoulder to shoulder. And he was losing 50-50s. And don't forget, he was also on a yellow card. So it wasn't like he could make any impactful challenges and risk going to make us go down to 10 men. So realistically, I feel like that Ruben Amorim, did he trust the youth today? Maybe not. But I feel like he also backed his senior players because realistically, they're supposed to be better than these kids. These kids are looking like they're smashing it in the under-18s, right? They're smashing it for the under-21s. They are a bunch of promising talents. But realistically, I think they're ready. And I feel like we're going to see quite a few appearances of him over the next few weeks, especially with Amad Diallo being out injured, with Mainu being out injured, Igate being out injured, and Martinez being out injured. We will see these players play. And realistically, we know the end of the result. We lose 1-0. And who's to say the kids couldn't make a difference? But who's to say the kids also could have made it worse? Who's to say that they would have got out-muscled, outran, made a mistake that would have even shot their confidence even more? From the way I look at it, Ruben Amorim is actually protecting these youth players. Yes, we know the outcome. Yes, we've lost. Yes, we're all frustrated. But realistically, if any of us in day-to-day life knew the outcome before it happened, we'd avoid making the mistake that leads to that issue, wouldn't we? But at the same time, I feel like Ruben Amorim was protecting these players and he will give them opportunities because we know what he's like at Sporting Lisbon. He will develop players. But maybe this game was just the wrong game for him. We're only 1-0 down. He backed his senior players to get the job done. And unfortunately, we couldn't get the job done because that Spurs team has been in the exact same situation as us this season. They struggled to score goals. They've had a load of injuries to deal with. They aren't at the races and they aren't in the table where they want to be. But the way we look at it is that United are in the exact same position as Spurs. And if United scored that goal, which Garnacho's chance, I'm pretty sure we would have held on to the 1-0 and just try and see the game out. But unfortunately, we didn't win the game. And we go on to the next one. We go on next week against Everton. And we're going to see how it goes. So please, United fans, calm down and just back this manager. He's doing a practically mission impossible task when it comes to this team, right? He's brought in a new system. He's brought in his system. He's refusing to change it, which I love. It's that stubborn mindset that we need. And yes, it could be the cause of another downfall of us. But you know what? He's come in with his principles, laid out the blueprint, and he's not changed it. And for me, for fans who say he hasn't got a plan B, I completely disagree. There was 3 different formations or 3 different tactics in build-up play, in counter-attack that I saw throughout that game and I've seen through other games as well, right? Towards the end of the game, you saw Garnacho, Højlund and Xerxes almost become a narrow front 3. And then we started using Dalot and Dorgu out wide more, right? And they started making more chances. I'd like to see that more. Actually go for a narrow front 3, seeing how it actually develops and actually using your wide players. Because there were so many positions today where Garnacho would refuse to pass to Dorgu. I don't know why, whether Dorgu was in the way or Garnacho doesn't trust him as a teammate yet. I'm not too sure. But I'm going to give Dorgu his flowers because for me, him and Xerxes were probably the only good players on the pitch actually above 6 out of 10 today. Bruno gave the ball away more times than I can count. Casemiro looked out on his feet towards the 60th minute, like I've already said. You had the likes of De Ligt just making errors Maguire, you know what? Maguire was all right. Probably actually deserves a 6. But the attackers as well. We had quite a few good chances, and Garnacho had a few shots on target. Højlund had a few shots on target. Xerxes, unfortunately, didn't really make a difference when it came to prolific-wise. But I felt like when it came to his dribbling ability, holding up the play, he was brilliant like we know he is. So if this is the front three we're going to be seeing from now on, with Amad Diallo being out injured, then, you know, once we get that chemistry going and we get that relationship stronger, then maybe it'll start clicking. And that's what it is. It's a maybe. This whole season is going to be a maybe. Maybe we'll make top 10. Maybe we'll get relegated. Maybe we'll win the FA Cup, or maybe we'll win the Europa League. Maybe we won't. The rest of this season, write it off as just a maybe. It's a possibility, and that's it. We'll find out what happens towards the end of the season. And I'm literally just going to take it game by game by game, backing this manager every single game, because I can see what he's trying to build. But right now, we just can't do it. And we probably do need a pre-season. Just work on things, because right now, look at it. This is our pre-season. Because we're finding new things out every single game. It's just frustrating to watch. And it's frustrating to also watch the fans already starting to turn on him. Fans saying we should have kept Van Nistelrooy. He's getting Leicester relegated. Look how it's turned out for him. We should have kept Ten Hag. No, not one Manchester United fan towards the end of Eric Ten Hag's tenure was saying keep the manager. And that's why when I say, I go back to my metaphor, if we all knew an outcome before we made a mistake, then we would avoid making the mistakes if you knew the outcome, right? Life happens, you make decisions, you make mistakes. But this was always the case with Ineos as well, that Eric Ten Hag wasn't their man. When it came to Ratcliffe and bringing in all these sporting directors, they were going to get their own man eventually, whether it was Southgate, whether it was Ruben Amorim, whether it was Nagelsmann or Pochettino, all the other managers that were linked to replace Eric Ten Hag. Eventually, Ineos were going to bring in their own manager, and that's what Ruben Amorim is. So that's why Ineos will back him no matter what. And I think we will see more under Ruben Amorim. Do I think United will get top 10? Yes, I think we'll just scrape 10th. And you know what? I'm calling it now. We're going to win the Europa League, because I have faith in this manager. I really do. And I just know that it might take that bright spark, or that player with that fearlessness like trait who will make a difference, like Amad Diallo does, right? But he's out for the season, and that's why I think we're going to see a lot more from the youth, whether it's Kone, whether it's Chido Martin, whether it's Morehouse, whether it's even Heaven playing at centre back. I just think United lack that passion at the moment and that fearlessness going up front, because once you have one player with that fearlessness, it's like a virus. It'll impact the squad. You'll see that player with the passion. You'll see that player playing with a bit more fit, with a bit more danger, and testing defenders or testing teams a lot more. And eventually, it'll rub off on the rest of the team. The team is low in confidence at the moment, and too right it should. Because we're losing left, right and centre. The media are exposing and literally highlighting every single mistake individual players and individual staff make. The club's fucking CEOs, as much as I don't like Ineos at the moment with what they've done with the people sacking and the ticket increase prices, like, you've got United ownership being targeted by the media and the fans. Then the media's also targeting the manager and the players. The team and the manager are low in confidence. So we should be backing the players personally. And just seeing fans that are already manager out is, for me, it's painful to watch, to be honest. I can't understand why, but maybe that's just the overprivileged fans who have had the glory and privilege of watching the experience and the glory that I didn't get to watch. But anyway, we'll see how it goes. But on to Everton next week. We'll see how it goes. But anyway, thank you for watching. If you made it this far into the video, leave a like on the video, subscribe if you are new, and I'll see you in the next one.